An opportunity as the players walk by, they clear him, but not quick enough. A double for Marv, and now B is open.
Yeah, this leaves
Wait,
so
dude,
much
what?
space to
What's
make that
happening
move
already?
Back in towards the B side, and the remaining players almost feel like they're hoping.
No, it's like
that
the
there's a
fastest,
gamble in the
the
other
fastest
direction.
pistol round
You can
action
see
ever.
Sassy making that rotation back over. Still has a little bit of utility to play with, maybe able to delay them a bit, but he's kind of waiting for his teammate in Sadak to make that move around. I will say, these two together, they've been doing it for a while. They're pretty good at clutches.
Yeah, they can definitely get it done if they're given the opportunities. The first shot, though, for Sadak, not going to land. He's being spotted, but calls for the stun. That's going to put a little bit of a wrench in the works, but Crashies is now back up and available to fight himself. Need to find some duels. The flash, getting the space. Sadak trying to fight his way onto the site, but look at OPTIC just tucked away in the corners. Eventually an opportunity is given. Time starts to be a problem. Ammunition as well, down to his last bullet. He smokes into the ghost, but even after those 2 kills, that's all that Sadak can get. OPTIC have done great in round number 1, and that lurk out of Marv already catching massive value.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much Loud are actually going to be as aggressive as we've just seen here, because in their previous composition, they were actually running a double Sentinel, mainly because of the attack side. They can basically just cover off every single part of the map and go, we know where you've pushed. But ultimately, it also helps for the defensive side, and they've switched that up to have a Viper in play. I know that'll make you happy, but ultimately, there'll be similar roles for less. Like, he's still got to try and lock down the site individually a lot of times, but in this pistol, they were very aggressive in their stance.
Well, speaking of aggression, look at Victor. He's already around the corner. Record pace as he blitzes in towards this site, opens up a ton of space. And for Loud, you know, they're reacting to this. They're sending the
they're just walking up B.
Sassy's alone on long range, and now up against a headhunter, he is going to be taken down quite quickly. This is a very, very strong round out of OPTIC with only 1 player going down so far. And they're even getting some orbs out of it as well. If they can manage to avoid losing anyone else, this will be pretty perfect. And Ye, though, does kind of want to get aggressive. He's only got a classic to back up his headhunter.
Enemy remaining.
The slide.
Okay, just styling. And we can call it back to what Doug was actually saying on the desk as well, that I think at this point, no matter what the scenario is, you can expect Ye to perform. I even go back to the last of the grand final they were in. Ye was managing to put up 320 ACS, and they still lost that Haven map versus Gambit. So I think
wait, how is Loud's fracture?
You're looking at other players, and Victor is definitely one of those other players. If he performs to a high degree and he's got off to a flying start here, this team is truly terrifying. And the same for Marv as well. So the fact that they've got a decent amount of orbs early, it looks like they're going to try and blitz their way forward once again. This is something Loud are going to have to react to.
That's one thing to do it against an eco, a completely different ball game when it comes to the full buy. Victor's made it past the utility at least. He's still trying to skirmish around, but at this point, the surprise factor is gone. I mean, we've already seen Loud adjust to it, and the players are waiting on the site for him to hopefully just blitz through, give them a kill or 2. OPTIC seem to be pretty happy with taking the map control. You know, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket. Sure, we're watching.
Oh my god, Vic's just getting
spammed. There are some
spammed.
players poking out towards B, grabbing the orbs there as well. This is really good for farming up the ult economy, and we'll see that benefit, maybe not in this round, but coming into the next for sure.
Yeah, they're not far away from having themselves an orbital strike, which would at least clear out some of the positions on the map. Now, obviously, if you're on Loud side,
did they just molly tower?
On either side that you're not currently covering, so they do still have an awful lot of information. Because those haven't been broken, they know where this push is going to be coming through. Even still, though, 1-for-1 trade early is pretty good. And Marv, well, there you go. That's the O online.
Sadak tried to get out of there, and he just couldn't.
Oh, there's a molly spawn.
The other players locked out of the site, stuck in towards the defender spawn. And Tom, this is a round that they come in with rifles on the defensive side. They want to be dominating these duels, but OPTIC keep on finding fights 1 versus X. It's always in their favor. For now, though, at least Crashies is being dealt with. That was an opportunity for Ye. The recovered Vandal not yet finding anything. The plant down for the 2v2.
Oh, FNS.
I mean, they haven't spotted him, but they know
they're not going to expect him here.
This control.
There's no way.
It's still a tough position to clear as they push forward.
And they're using utility past him, so he knows roughly where these players are going to be. They have absolutely no idea. An easy clear, and Marv swings off that initial contact. Great work from OPTIC in these early rounds. They've got themselves the bonus round, Mitch, and now economically, Loud are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, that is a big blow. Losing out on that round. OPTIC started by applying pressure A main and B main. They're taking orbs. They're really playing
I
for the
pray
next
I pray
round,
for a
knowing that
game
if they can
without
find that map
any
control again and
tech
again
pauses.
and keep pushing it out of their hands.
That's what I hope
already
for.
establishing a good set of early protocols against Loud. They're starting to see what the adaptations are. They're gaining a ton of information, and usually that would be enough in a round like this. Do a little bit of damage in there as well, and it's great. But for OPTIC to walk out with the win, now have a ton of rifles to play with, and Loud left in the dumps. This is not the ideal way to start out this map, but with it being OPTIC's map pick, I suppose this is exactly what they wanted. Now with the weak weapons, great flash as well. This is again gonna
Oh my
be
god, dude, Vic's just getting all the entries in.
Just absolutely farming. They're setting him up for these initial duels, but normally you expect them to be in like a trade. Like one or two, maybe someone gets him back, but no. He's having an absolute field there, and as I said, if he's able to perform to his peak level, well, they might be able to blitz through the first couple of maps and make their way straight through to the final. There hasn't been any sort of response just yet, and they're taking it slow. They got the first couple of picks. You can see some early rotations coming through.
I'd say so, yeah.
Bait players into almost taking a risk here.
I guess the thing that's so hard to find a reaction to is like they want to stun early and keep you out of A main, but when you have somebody like Victor who's going to stun you to peek the corner, you can't take that map control out of their hands. And they're able to just blitz past the utility, get on the site, and in this case obviously find some kills, but with players not having rifles, we won't read too much into that. For Loud, it's about finding a little bit of extra damage. Even then, that's going to be very difficult to do in a 3v5 post plant.
Yeah, you can actually see the absurd amount of utility they put in there, even though they know it's just pistols. But Carter, though, has been able to find one. Anything more they can get here a second. That's a rifle into their hands as well, giving them at least a little bit of an opportunity. Less trades back another into a 2v2 scenario. This was looking like a done deal in the 5v3, but somehow Loud are making it look good.
If the race gets another kill, he gets a...
recovering it indeed, but still have to get towards that site. Time's not on their side, and Crash
never mind.
with a
I think
great
it's out of time.
maneuver, making his way across. As you can see, it won't have any sort of impact anyways, because Loud realized the clock was way too far gone. That's 4-0. 3 kills, though. I mean, we were doubting whether Loud would get away with damage in general, considering the post-plant 3v5 they were up against. They got out of there with 2 rifles and killed 3 of OPTIC. That's a lot more damage than you would have thought, but really, it means nothing unless they can manage to then take this round.
I think the other thing as well is, yeah, financially for OPTIC it makes no difference. Like every single player is
credit
around
meta. Their chambers probably like
credits on some.
the best at the moment.
In the next, they also have some ultimates which will help them in terms of economy.
Chamber,
if things
KO.
go wrong. The more important thing though is orbs being earned up for Loud, and they get a couple of free rifles that they take into the next. So they can now try and do a little bit more. The fact is though, OPTIC for now is just rinse and repeat. They are challenging for A main. There hasn't been anyone there able to stop them just yet, and in fact, Aspas looking like he's going to try and take this control on his own. Has his risks about it. He's instantly stunned, but will be able to get out of dodge.
Yeah, great movement to back out of there. Victor's still keeping up his stun for a little bit.
He got headshotted through the door.
We've seen it again and again now that they were bypassing the utility, keeping them back, and I think at this point, you know, OPTIC sort of were just feeling out A main, saying, okay, how are you taking it? Are you pushing up fully? Were we going to have some utility coming our way? They've got a little bit of an idea. I like that they don't just run through for the same thing a 5th time in a row, because you got to expect that Loud are ready for it this time. That means you got to look elsewhere, though, and the B site is where they're deciding to take things. Spike's still on Crash. He's in spawn, but he's making his way through. Oh, maybe he's not.
Damn, he just has to go through.
Is this a huge fake? Already throw the wall. Victor's got one.
The slide.
Down, and they're still
I think they have an idea. They have an idea that they're coming back.
While the rest of the team roots back to the A side.
The problem is they haven't been able to smoke everything off. You can see the cross is currently being held. Aspas is in position, and they've already used their remaining smoke just to try and stop anybody coming out from the bow. 2 players here, a 3rd rotating, but already Marv's is going to take the head off one. Aspas needs to get something, and it's absolutely nothing. The tour de force from Yade puts another in the grave, and 5-0 looks inevitable, Mitch.
Yeah, how are you going to fight back into this one? I mean, realistically, with Sadik on 2 HP, the right call is to save, but this is a commanding lead by OPTIC now. With the amount of success they're having, you see the early A main control that really, I mean, Loud didn't get a chance to test it that much because they push up, they end up getting hit by a flash stun. It's a completely different approach from OPTIC.
Dude,
so they haven't figured out how to keep control.
The KO on this map is actually pretty nice. KO as like a complementary flash character to a breach is actually insane. Because then you can't be like, you can't be safe of like anything.
Dragging the rotations off of A
in terms of like flashes. Plus, it kind of does like what Silva or like Sky does on like maps where you knife something, you can get info, and then you get your ulti. They literally can't counter util, and you can just util spam them or like just pop out on them. It's actually pretty good.
Battle of the in-game leaders, like. We've seen Sadak, obviously the one import that is in this team coming from Argentina. I will say maybe there's a little bit of a trend of Argentinian in-game leaders. Like we saw that with Crew as well. Like one of the LATAM teams that actually managed to do damage.
Yeah, like his knife could completely
so far,
just
looking at, like,
scout out an area for you.
It's definitely been won by FNS. The throw in there of Victor, he's been entry fragging every single round that they've had. He has gone in first, and that's the site they've ended up going into. So instead, throw him in on the other side, place your utility down, sell that fake as well as possible, and then the rest of the team hold back. And the good thing about it as well, if he runs in and gets nothing, 5v4 retake's still a very good position for Loud. The fact he even takes one, that's where the hesitation comes in. Everybody else starts rotating, and they have that extra little bit of space.
There's a new stage, yes it is.
Null command to make sure that if there was anybody there that had some utility that could slow them down, they're not even able to use it. That's a beautiful strat from OPTIC.
Yeah, it was really clean, and I think you can realize over the last minute we've been putting out a lot of negativity Loud's way, right? There's so many things for them to overcome, so many points of data to process. That's why they call this timeout, sit back, have a discussion about how they want to get this done, but eventually that clock starts counting down again, and it's time to put their theories to the test. One thing, you got to look at Sadak here. He's got that tour de force, and we have seen it have so much impact as well. When you look at both of these teams, defensive side, they love the early aggression. With an agent like Chamber, it's no surprise that Ye and Sadak lead the charge for some of these defensive side aggressive rounds. And here's an opportunity, but Sadak, he's
holy shit,
ruined. OPTIC were ready. They read them like a book.
Yeah, they even had the operator set up as well on the other side, so if he swung the other angle, they were ready to take it. It really does just seem like...
Wearing gloves? I'm wearing concussion glove on my left hand.
His opponent's strap, because like, okay, they're going to be doing this round. He got the script a little bit early because, yeah, they've just been absolutely ruined. That removes some of the utility that is holding other flanks on the map as well. So because of that, players now have to get aggressive. They need to try and find a fight. And Aspes, I don't really feel like he's had a clean fight just yet, which is where he normally shows that individual ability we've been raving about.
I mean, even there, the opportunity, right, kind of got caught off guard by where Victor was, being so deep into the corner. That's a missed opportunity for Loud. 4v5, no information as we tend a little bit further.
Yeah, see, dude, the knife just clears everything for you.
Much utility on this defensive side. We saw the nade go down early. Now the snake bites are being used to slow them down a little bit more. That flash is good, and the response is so clean. Victor is just DMing on every site. It seems like no matter where OPTIC decide to go,
spike planted,
the Loud defense just crumbles within seconds.
You know what?
This is fresh off a timeout as well.
OPTIC's comp is like pretty good.
Imagine what that does to the morale of the team now.
Because just having breaches like the solo flash, you can kind of dodge it, and you know that a flash can come through a wall. And then the KO just right click just adds a whole another element to it.
Same coming through from FNS. Sassy, of course, this is a man that you never really want to face, because if he has the positioning, he's going to land the shot. But Marved, well, at this point, economy's not an issue. They can swing, they can take those players down, and 6-0. What a start. And again, I feel like at the moment, at least, it doesn't look like they're prepared to play against a Neon, and definitely not one of the best in the world at the moment.
Yeah, and that is the problem, right? 6-0 isn't the end of the world. Any team can come back from a position like this, but it's the context of how we got here. OPTIC are looking like they're having an easy time so far. We haven't really seen them ever be challenged to the point that their game plan is interrupted. If they say, hey, let's go A main, we'll fake late and go A, it works out. They never really have to rethink and readjust from that early game plan. Now again, we're going to see Loud push up on Dish, a double push this time with breach utility, but OPTIC seem to be taking a completely different pace as well. Faking it out a little bit there. Victor's baiting their utility, and the players are actually so far back thanks to that Dish push. Tom, the Dish push is coming all the way around. They think now that it's definitely going to be a B play. if OPTIC decide to do what they did before and fake back, they will have a free A side. Sure, they'll run into a trap and give the info, but they'll still get the side in time. If they decide to go B, they have the whole team to contend with.
I think the thing is, though, a lot of that looked like they were trying to bait out some ults, which they didn't. Like, obviously the utility was nice, but there was 4 ults on the side of the defense, so they were expecting something to be used off the back of that push. Now, luckily, they have Ye. So he's just going to be able to find an opener, and there isn't a lot left on the other side. I will say, Aspas with a showstopper and everybody running through in the other direction, but he might have actually been caught there. I don't know if he's going to be able to use it and just has to fall back and try and wait. They've managed at least to do a little bit of damage, but in the meantime, that control is just being taken on the other side. Aspas at least will be able to get one. And
holy shit, what's happening?
That Rolling Thunder coming through, it looks like they want to commit to this.
They're almost winning this.
Loud having Sassy walk all the way around.
He is on 5 HP.
Vandal on his own now to make this little flank play up through main, but oh, Ye was looking at it for a second. He's about to be blocked out by the wall, and as he tries to go back through it, the showstopper comes
he
in.
saw him.
Sassy catches the flank, and now FNS is left alone. He's got to go fast if he wants to deny this. The stun comes through. That has pulled them off the defuse for a second, and he gambles that they did just that. Now, though, forced into the open, a good opportunity.
1 HP.
It's Aspas that comes out on top with 1 health. The first round is found for Loud. My God.
A little bit too close, little bit too close, but they're on the board. The thing, again, this is what I was saying initially. It looked like that play from OPTIC was to try and bait out ults. You want to make sure they don't have a Rolling Thunder as you're pushing into the site. You want to make sure that that showstopper is gone before you go for the push. Well, that's the one thing that they didn't fall for. They kept all of those ults online ready for that moment.
The thing was, and if you look at the map now, you're seeing the same thing. The ults they wanted to bait.
Vic is 11 and 4.
So even if
this guy's like first bloods. He's got like 5 first bloods already.
The choice to. So ultimately, I guess it comes down to a bad gamble for OPTIC, but you know, 6 out of 7 rounds have been pretty good, so they can be happy with that. We've got to see Loud reset into this and continue that same trend. Now, we saw in the last round, Ye's operator found a duel right away. This time a change of pace yet again. OPTIC not giving Loud a second to rest. They've overrun the site, but again, OPTIC or Loud are happy to give up that control. They've got to hold on after, and Victor, he is just, he's distracted them all. They're so worried about this guy.
Oh my God.
Crashies is able to spray them. Oh man.
He's in their heads. He's deep in their heads. It's just given so much space to Crashies to take that swing, knowing that they've been forced out of the tower, and the remaining 2 have no choice but to save. And this is the difference for OPTIC. They've been selling that fake fast round for so long. Like we've seen it throughout the game so far. It's like, okay, we're just going to throw Victor. Okay, now we're just going to throw in steps. We're not even going to do anything else. This time they go aggressively. The control's given up. But because of that, they're forced into awkward positions. And they know how far the Victor is willing to push. He's still pushing. He hasn't let go of the W key. He's looking for that last man, and Sadak is doing his best to try and survive. I think he might just be able to hold on to the weapon. No, in fact, he's taken out by FNS.
This has
holy shit,
utterly dominant out of OPTIC, and it's the versatility of their playbook when it comes to pacing, conditioning, as we're seeing right here. 2 players both cyber focused on up above, because when you hear Victor, oh wow, that's a little insult to injury, a little pixel angle on the smoke. When you hear Victor blissing it down,
because you could see.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a normal shot for him.
7-1. Brazil in a tough spot, now on an eco, and with a judge in the hands of Les and the rest having pistols. Indeed, that judge being on the B side.
Oh my God, Vic, what?
All right, that does just about sum up the kind of time Loud are having so far. Aspas has been pretty good with the Sheriff. Triple kill to win out the 1 round that they had, surviving on 1 HP, but this is a little bit of a different task, right? They're not retaking, they're not showstoppering. Instead, they're trying to defeat an OPTIC 5-man aggressive strategy. And with pistols, well, the result is as expected.
Yeah, not too much trouble.
0 damage.
So far. 0 damage. So far. You know, the opportunity. There you go. There's the. Oh, that's not the damage you want. A 145 headshot.
Yeah.
It's going to be painful. But I guess at this point, again, in terms of economy, it doesn't really matter. Like, the majority of players are close, if not already, at 9,000 credits. A lot of these rounds have been very, very dominant for OPTIC, and Loud, they haven't turned up to the party yet.
You know, the thing is, we mentioned for Loud that
I'm fishing in my cereal.
Their utility, right? They're trying to bait out their ultimates more specifically.
You need
but the kind of time that
KO
OPTIC
to
have
play
had
against
so
this
far,
Neon.
they haven't had to use any
Honestly,
of their
the
ultimates.
breach
Really been
KO
4-on-1.
complementary is really good.
The A plan has been flawless so far.
They
I mean,
each cover like.
What happens if they lose a player or
Like,
two? If Victor doesn't find these early aggressive rounds, will
pretty
they
good.
start to look at the ult economy and invest that? And the control, even though 2 players from Loud wanted to fight this, they hear Victor coming, they're out.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like 1 or 2 pieces of utility just completely takes over map control. Now, one ultimate that's been online for a very long time was actually that Viper's Pit. So it's finally been utilized in this round to lock down at least one corner. But now they've gone in the other direction. Again, an incredibly fast take in towards the site. Marth has taken a lot of damage, and yeah, he's taken even more. He's died to his own teammate's utility. Definitely not ideal in this take, and in fact, I wonder if they're going to try and back out of here. In fact, no, they're going to plant themselves a relatively open position. Victor knows that he needs to try and get aggressive, and while I say it was open, he actually goes down, and a cheeky little blast pack kill coming out from Aspas.
Considering how this round started, it was looking like Loud were down and out, but now starting to recover a little bit more control. Marv, sure, he gets a kill, but he's down to 13 HP. Spike still in their position. Marv on the rotate, and so too is Crash. They're going to look for a B-side plant. Orbital strike on.
Oh, double rotate.
Other than that,
2-1-2.
So Molly as well for post-plant play. It means Marv could still be pretty useful, but getting to the site will be the problem.
Yeah, if Marv tries to plant, he's gonna die instantly to the ulti.
Left. He's holding that orbital strike, ready to drop it down from the sky above. This
oh my god, wait, dude.
Might have gotten a plant.
If he knifes that.
The round is done. The orbital strike confirms it. Crashies. Well, he'll go down after time as well. 8
He like thought about knifing for a second and then he canceled it.
For Loud.
Yeah, if he knifed it, then he would have stayed alive right there.
They've got to keep it going. They've got to chain these final 2 together.
He'll never know how close that was to actually just completely denying that orbital strike. But hey, you know, it would have been a complete guess to just throw that 0 point out at that moment. Again, though, if that's ultimates used, like it was 2 that were being saved for an incredibly long time that are utilized to win a round. Also, a much more passive stance from Loud, which is not necessarily something we were expecting to see in the way that they normally would play this map, but they've had to fall back into those positions and not take the battles versus Victor. And well, again, just a straight blitz through in the early round, the same sort of setup we've seen throughout. And again, we've got that push through Dick.
Rolling Thunder used this time. That space was conceded though. Loud, obviously, as you said, Tom pushing Dish, taking the control. It means OPTIC.
To be honest,
utility in here, and they don't really find anything.
The Neon on this map's actually pretty nice. Like, because aiming controls everything, and you're able to just take it so free because you have like the breach stun with the Neon stun, and you literally just run up.
Well, he's catching that one for free. No idea about the player on the left though.
It genuinely may not matter, although no, the timing's good enough. Pancada pushing them up just straight through the door. Into the site goes one. Aspas has been able to trade it back into a workable position. Victor above, though, hasn't been cleared. Sassy left alone, trying to get something done. He's going to pop the ult, but Victor's just too clean today. Another headshot, and well, he's treating them like food.
Yeah, and you know, back in there for the retake, it was gorgeous with Aspas diving through in the back of the stun. These players are in a lot of trouble on this site, but Victor had just managed to find himself that spot on top of site. No one could deal with him. Trades come through. This was a little bit nasty. Of course, I think Pancada was like 5 HP or something.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I heard someone laugh behind me on the stage.
I think
I'm almost certain it was Marv.
9-2, Tom, diving into the last round of the half.
Vic has the ulti?
Desperate times for Loud. They put everything they can into this round, investing it all, and that stun is so good! Victor coming through
the flash.
The opening. And the follow-up there from Marv, trading it out. Aspas has no choice but to run for the hills. Oh, they're going to have to dig deep to come up with a 3rd round here. It's a 3v4.
Yeah, and again, it's the slowdown from OPTIC. They've already got what they needed. They can just wait for their opponents to re-aggress and rotate, slowly clearing out the site. But again, they don't know if anybody's actually still around this area. And after finding a couple of initial jewels, they're now just allowing Ye to almost lurk in from behind. And well, it's almost going to depend on which direction they gamble.
Vic's going wild right now, I know. I need to see how many first bloods this guy has.
They might just opt to wrap back around. They got plenty of time.
They're ready with the stun here.
Oh.
Smoke pushing Static out of the site. The stun comes in up above. Got the information on Aspas being in this position, still hard to hold on. He's only got a Spectre to work with, dodges the first flash, blast pack through. He doesn't want to overcommit to it, and the flash gets him.
It's a double KO
Sadek,
flash.
last man alive. This is where the Tour de Force might be able to find some value now that the smokes start to fade, but even still, 1v4. How much hope can you realistically have?
They've already spotted him. That shot was actually closer to hitting Yay than it was to hitting the player he was actually aiming for. OPTIC with one of the most dominant halves we've seen in this entire tournament. And honestly, Mitch, I want to throw this one straight over to the desk because it is tough to see anything here for Loud.
OPTIC absolutely having the performance of their lives. I'm glad, Tom, that you mentioned Victor treating his opponents like food there. Doug, I know you hate that one, but I love it. We brought up Victor beforehand, right, in the pre-show, and you spoke of the fact that, yay, the superstar, but when Victor is stepping up, it's impossible to beat this team.
Yeah, he looked so good. I think Finesse did a really good job of setting him up in certain situations to
Wait, where's the first blood stat?
I can specifically think of, but Yinsu, the scary thing for me is this could have been uglier than it actually was.
Yeah.
You think about the 2-round wins that Loud had. One of them was Finesse in the 1v2, where he dinked the Aspas at the end to 1 HP, and the other one was Crashies with the knife. Those 2 rounds could have easily gone OPTIC's way.
We could be seeing 0 rounds on the board for an entire half here for Loud. This is so incredibly dominant, and the fact that you can cut the head off of the spear of OPTIC, and then another head grows being Victor, I mean, that's terrifying. No wonder people, I think back to sort of round 8, where they just left tower and just let him run riot. Wow.
This was actually my favorite round because you think about the first 5 rounds of the half.
Oh my gosh.
The same default. Southern half of the map, they never explore anything.
Dude, look at that from his POV. That looks so stupid.
Presumably to adjust for the fact that they haven't been able to deal with the southern map push. And what does Finesse call? An aggressive northern map push into Dish. It's brilliant. Loud never found footing. They had no idea what OPTIC was throwing their way, and Finesse just rolled them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving the Victor go kill strat. I love it.
And it's just one of the many pieces of the puzzle that OPTIC clearly have for this map. I said I liked this risk pick here from Loud. I now have to sit here and just go, wow, what an odd, sporadic choice for them to make against OPTIC now, who just look like they're going to run their number round after round. I want to see a little bit more in the second half. I think that that's where we will get it.
I actually do think OPTIC, with their current comp, I think they figured out Fracture the best. Because it looks really not fun to play against. Just like the amount of stuns it is and the amount of flashes they have.
I'll tell you what, things are pretty
the KO can just grab info as well.
Right now, Tom, the morale
and then you have just anchor somewhere with an op.
This half, but
actually pretty good.
And I want to say that's where they get to decide the pace, but knowing OPTIC, I think this is going to have to be a defensive start for Loud in this half.
Well, Sadek's already gone. Yeah, they're pushing. Yeah, they're already pushing all the way down. And the worst thing is they're doing it on A main as well. So so much ground already covered. The thing is that the slow push going through on the other side could actually give them the space just to take complete control of this B site. It's just dependent on the timing of everything. And without having ramp, it can be fairly difficult to get a strong afterclock.
Yeah, it's good control. Southside Crunch, a favorite of most teams. OPTIC having a decent bit of a foothold to fight back into. In fact, they're just running it down again. Look at the pace.
The flashes.
Victor's on site. The flash is so good, though. It slows down the rest of the team.
Does KO have another flash?
It allows them to eliminate Victor, but they still need to get a foothold of their own. Loud are crammed into the corner of the site. It's Sadek who has to open up this side angle. Marved already eliminated. The duels working out well, but they've caught him. This is looking a little bit scary. FNS managing to take down Sassy, confirms the round, and with that pistol going OPTIC's way, starting to feel like the beginning of the end, Tom. 11-2.
Yeah, I feel like starting to feel is maybe the understatement of the year. Like, OPTIC have looked incredible on this map, and I think the good thing is that Loud are going on to their best map next.
Look how blind everyone was.
It needs to be something more comfortable for them because right now they're getting schooled.
Victor was the first guy into that site, and he actually, the rest of his team were blind for ages. They ate that flash. Victor managed to turn from it, turn back, take a kill, do damage, and then go down, while just sprinting into the site. I mean, you look at this guy right now, and it's like, I prefer his Neon entry than any Jet entry in the world. This guy is crazy.
He's ready for the new patch, let's put it that way.
Oh, yes,
he's
he
more
is.
than ready.
Yeah, well, I see. This is the thing. People are going to be looking at Victor now going, how do we play without Jet? All right, let's see what this guy's got planned. I mean, we've already seen it viable on the likes of Haven, and there's many more maps that it could come out on. Yay, as the escape.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, he
so
took so
lucky,
much
and he'll go
damage.
down to 24 HP. Yay, in the snake bite, only needs the one bullet. Crashies is down too. Loud actually answering up here with next to nothing in their hands coming into this round. They're actually doing quite a bit on the force. This could be a third for them and a recovery of a disastrous scenario.
It's not over yet, though. Still players able to try and fight their way back through. And
Vic's alive.
yeah, he's looking to try and sneak his way forward. The rest of the team isolated by the smokes is definitely going to make things a little bit more difficult on that way back in. Already, though, the stun through, and he's just insta-kill Pancada. Now looks to try and take that space even further. He's just farming up kills. Another to his name! Victor is just
I think about it. Don't bluff Neon.
Let's move on to the
This character is actually pretty good.
Oh, that is devastating.
I guess someone just had to figure out how to use it properly.
And that's what it comes down to. This isn't, oh yeah, I'll just jump on my next Fracture game, I'll pick Neon, and I'll start owning. Because from his perspective, it looks easy, right? He's running around taking duels, and you're like, how are Loud not connecting? But these players, they're always stunned up, they're always being disrupted, and that's the key thing. Disruption play from OPTIC. I don't think there's been a single round where Loud have said, all right guys, maybe we should play this way. And in the first 5 seconds, it doesn't even get flipped. It just gets jumbled around to the point that they're already trying to figure out, they're trying to recover around when it's only just started. Adapting to OPTIC's play here is, I mean, next to impossible on the fly. And you can see that, I mean, I hate to say, but Loud were not ready, evidently.
Oh, there's at least some sort of buy. It's definitely not the prettiest. Yeah, he's already decimated one. He's not going to be able to escape, but even with the pistol, Crashies has found another, looking to try and reclaim that space, but even just with that man advantage alone, they put themselves in a good spot.
Push coming over on Dish. FNS is just leaving, and they've heard him. That's confirmation for Loud that they've pulled the rotation. And that this site should be next to free. The drop down is heard. FNS knows that he's conceded the control. Loud might hope that he's already rotated to the other side, that they don't have this information to play with the headshot angle. Tough for FNS. He does so much damage, and he's actually deterred them from any further aggression, Tom. They have no control of Dish, nothing in main. I mean, the attempt from Sassy
this
to
is
take
looking
some
rough.
control gets slapped and shut down.
Wow.
What a map from OPTIC.
Dominated on map number 1, 13-12.
13 to 12, yeah?
2. 13-2. It's double digits.
It's
Double digits in the twos again.
It was so dominant.